The full moon hung low over the evergreens like a guilty secret, its silver light slicing through the mist-shrouded trails of Olympic National Park. Noah Harlan's boot caught on a gnarled root, and he pitched forward into the underbrush, heart slamming against his ribs as the world tilted into chaos. Something massive and feral exploded from the shadows, a blur of fur and fangs that pinned him down, teeth sinking deep into his shoulder with a wet, ripping sound that echoed louder than his scream. Blood welled hot and metallic, soaking his flannel shirt, but the pain was nothing compared to the eyes staring back at him, wild, golden, and unmistakably human in their terror. "The creature, man? Beast?" whimpered once a guttural plea before bolting into the night, leaving Noah gasping on the damp earth, the forest closing in like a judgmental congregation. He staggered back to his truck 2 miles later, the bite throbbing like a brand, convinced he'd bleed out before dawn. But as the first rays crept over the Olympics, Noah peeled off his shirt in the rearview mirror and stared. The wound was already knitting itself shut, pink scar tissue blooming where flesh had been torn away. No fever. No rage. Just a faint itch under his skin, like his body was rewriting its own rules. And when he reached for the silver chain his grandmother had given him, a simple locket with her faded photo inside, his fingers brushed it, and fire erupted along his nerves. He yanked back, blistering red welts rising instantly on his knuckles, the metal clattering to the floorboard like a curse. That was the first sign. The allergy to silver hit like a sucker punch from the universe, turning heirlooms into hazards overnight. But the second, that came slower, slithering in through the cracks of his everyday life in Seattle, where the rain never quite washed away the grit of unspoken longings. Noah had always chalked up his distance from women to bad luck, divorced parents, a string of fizzled dates that left him more hollow than heartbroken. At 28, he was the guy who fixed leaky roofs for a living, nursed IPAs at dive bars, and told himself solitude was a choice. Until the bite. It started small. A brush of shoulders with the barista at his corner coffee shop, a guy named Elias with ink-sleeved arms and a crooked smile that lingered too long in Noah's mind. Heat flushed his cheeks, not from embarrassment, but something deeper, electric, a pull that made his pulse stutter and his palms sweat. He fled without his latte, chalking it up to shock. But days blurred into a week, and the itch spread. Silver first. He melted down that locket in a fit of paranoia, burying the ashes in his backyard under a rhododendron bush. Then came the men. Not all at once, but in waves that crashed against the seawall of his denial. Ridge Valley, the sleepy suburb on Seattle's eastern edge where Noah had grown up, felt smaller now, its clapboard houses and fog-draped streets pressing in like judgmental neighbors. He avoided the hardware store where Old Man Harlan, his dad, retired and bitter from a mill accident, still tinkered with tools, muttering about city queers ruining the Pacific Northwest. Noah's mom had bailed when he was 10, chasing a painter to Portland, leaving behind a void filled with fishing trips and unspoken rules. Men fixed things, loved women, and never questioned the script. But the bite had ripped up the pages. Noah spent nights pacing his creaky A-frame rental on the outskirts, the Salish Sea's distant roar mocking his unraveling. Dreams came feverish, golden eyes in the dark, furred hands tracing his scars, a voice whispering freedoms he'd never dared name. He'd wake hard and aching, shame twisting like barbed wire in his gut. Was this the curse? Not claws or howls, but this awakening to a hunger he'd buried deeper than roots. One drizzly Tuesday, Noah's truck sputtered to a halt on the winding road to Haven Point, a coastal hamlet 20 miles north where he'd scored a roofing gig on an old lighthouse keeper's cottage. Rain sheeted down as he popped the hood, cursing the timing when headlights pierced the gloom. A sleek black Jeep pulled up, and out stepped Wyatt Kane, tall, broad-shouldered, with skin like burnished oak and eyes the color of storm-tossed waves. Mid-30s maybe, dressed in faded Levi's and a wool peacoat that smelled of salt and pine when he leaned in to offer a hand. Need a jump? Wyatt's voice was low, gravel rough, like he'd smoked one too many by bonfires. His grip on the cables was steady, callous fingers brushing Noah's in a spark that had nothing to do with the battery. Noah's breath hitched, the contact sending a jolt straight to his core. Hot, insistent, like the silver burn but laced with want. He pulled back too fast, mumbling thanks, but Wyatt lingered, wiping rain from his brow with a lazy grin that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "You look like you've seen a ghost, Harlan. Rough week." Noah froze. How did he know his name? The job site was under his company letterhead, sure, but this felt too precise, too knowing. Wyatt chuckled, low and easy, as if reading the suspicion. "Saw your truck in the rearview half a mile back. Figured you for the type who pushes it till it breaks. I'm Wyatt, by the way. Own the bait shop down in Haven. And that cottage you're fixing? It's mine." The words hung there, casual as the rain, but they hooked something deep in Noah's chest. Wyatt's gaze flicked to the fresh scar peeking from Noah's collar, curiosity sharpening those blue-gray eyes. No judgment, just a quiet intensity that made Noah's skin prickle. Not with allergy but anticipation. For the first time since the bite, the isolation cracked, letting in a sliver of light. They worked in tandem under the hood, shoulders brushing in the tight space, Wyatt's laugh rumbling when Noah fumbled a wrench. It was easy, unnervingly so. Talk of salmon runs and microbrews flowing like they'd known each other lifetimes ago. But when Wyatt clapped him on the back, palm warm through damp fabric, Noah's body betrayed him. A flush, a throb, a magnetic pull toward this stranger that screamed louder than any full moon. He excused himself to the cab, heart pounding, staring at his reflection in the side mirror. Who was this man staring back? Not the roofer who dated waitresses out of obligation. Not anymore. By the time the engine roared to life, the downpour had eased to a mist. Wyatt leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, that grin still playing. "Come by the shop tomorrow. First coffee's on me. And Noah? Whatever's eating you. It don't have to." The Jeep taillights faded into the fog, leaving Noah gripping the wheel, the scar on his shoulder pulsing in rhythm with his pulse. He didn't know then that Wyatt carried secrets of his own, scars that matched, eyes that glowed under certain moons. But in that moment, as he drove the slick roads toward home, Noah felt the first stirrings of possibility. The bite hadn't made him a monster. It had made him alive. Wyatt's bait shop squatted on Haven Point's weathered pier like a sentinel against the relentless Pacific, its salt-bleached sign creaking in the wind. Kane's Catch. Noah pulled up at dawn the next day, the sky a bruised watercolor of grays and indigos, his stomach knotted tighter than the ropes coiled outside. He'd barely slept, replaying that touch, the accidental graze that lingered like a promise. Silver was easy to avoid. He'd stripped his life of it, tossing cufflinks and belt buckles into a lockbox buried in the garden. But men? They were everywhere, woven into the fabric of his days. The burly logger at the gas station whose laugh boomed too warmly, the barfly at the rusty anchor whose knee bumped his under the table, sending sparks he couldn't ignore. He told himself it was the bite's aftershock, a hormonal glitch from whatever lupin venom coursed through him. Science would explain it, maybe a tweak to his pheromones turning attraction inward like a compass gone haywire. But deep down in the quiet hours when the rain tapped confessions on his roof, Noah knew better. This wasn't new. It was unearthed. And Wyatt Kane, with his easy swagger and knowing glances, was the shovel. The shop door jingled as Noah stepped in, the air thick with brine and bait guts. Wyatt emerged from the back, wiping hands on a rag, his flannel rolled to elbows revealing forearms roped with muscle and faint, silvery scars that mirrored Noah's own. "Harlan. Knew you'd show." He poured 2 mugs from a percolator, black as midnight, sliding one across the scarred oak counter. Their fingers brushed again, deliberate this time, and Noah's skin sang, a low hum of desire that pooled warm in his belly. He jerked back, scalding his palm on the ceramic, cursing under his breath. Wyatt's brow arched, amusement flickering. "Hot stuff, huh? Sit. Tell me about that shoulder. Looks fresh." Noah hesitated, then shrugged off his jacket, the motion pulling his shirt taut. The scar was a jagged crescent, pale against his freckled skin, itching under scrutiny. Wyatt's eyes darkened as he traced it with a gaze not touch yet. Hiking mishap. Cougar maybe. Or bear. The lie tasted bitter, but the truth? Full moon. Feral man-beast. A bite that should have cursed him but instead cracked him open. Wyatt nodded slowly, leaning closer, the scent of him, cedar and sea, filling Noah's lungs. "Around here, folks say the woods hold more than wildlife. Old stories. Werewolves in the Olympics, silver bullets and all that jazz. He said it light, but his voice dipped, laced with something raw. Noah's heart stuttered. Was this a test? Wyatt's hand hovered near the scar, close enough for heat to bridge the gap. Does it hurt? The question hung double-edged. The scar? No. But the proximity, the way Wyatt's breath ghosted his collarbone. Yes, it burned, a sweet ache that made Noah's thighs clench. He swallowed hard, voice rough. Only when I think about it. They talked then, words tumbling like pebbles into tide pools. Wyatt spun tales of growing up in Haven Point. Orphaned young, raised by a fisherman uncle who taught him to read the waves but not the heart. Uncle Reese said love's like a riptide. Pulls you under if you fight it. His eyes met Noah's steady and the air thickened. Noah shared fragments, his dad's iron-fisted expectations, the empty hookups that left him adrift. Omission by omission, the walls thinned. By noon, they were knee-deep in gutting salmon for the smoker out back. Knives flashing in tandem, laughter cutting the tension. Wyatt's shoulder nudged his, solid and unyielding, and Noah didn't pull away. Instead, he leaned in, testing the current. The contact ignited. Fire without blisters, want without shame. When Wyatt's hand steadied his on the filleting board, thumb stroking the back in a slow circle, Noah's breath caught. Time suspended. The world narrowed to that touch, the unspoken invitation hanging like fog. You feel it too, don't you? Wyatt murmured, voice a rumble against Noah's ear. Not a question, really, a bridge extended over the chasm. Noah turned, faces inches apart, the piers creaked, the only witness. His pulse thundered, the bite's legacy roaring to life. This was no allergy. It was affinity, a magnetic north he'd ignored for years. He closed the gap, lips brushing Wyatt's in a tentative press, soft, exploratory, tasting of salt and possibility. Wyatt responded with a hunger that matched, hand cupping Noah's jaw, pulling him deeper into the kiss. It was messy, urgent, tongues tangling as rain began to patter on the tin roof above. They broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, Wyatt's thumb tracing Noah's lower lip. Been waiting for that since the road, he confessed, grin wolfish. But shadows crept into his eyes, secrets unspoken, burdens heavy as driftwood. That night, Noah drove back to Ridge Valley with lips swollen and heart full, the scar warm, not itching. He texted Elias the barista. Sorry man, gotta cancel that beer. And blocked the number without regret. But as he crossed the threshold of his A-frame, phone buzzing with a work call from his dad, reality intruded. Noah, you coming to the mill reunion? Bring a girl this time. Can't keep showing up solo like some damn drifter. The words landed like silver shards slicing old wounds. Noah hung up, sinking to the floorboards, the high from Wyatt's kiss crashing into doubt. What if this was temporary? The bite's cruel joke. Dangling desire only to snatch it away? He curled into himself, the rain a relentless drumbeat, whispering fears of rejection, of a world that silver-lined its closets. Miles away in Haven Point's shadowed lighthouse, Wyatt paced the spiral stairs, full moon waxing overhead. He touched his own scars, older, deeper, from bites long survived. Noah's kiss lingered on his skin, a balm and a blaze. But the pack's call echoed in his blood. Outsiders were risks, transformations unpredictable. What if Noah's change wasn't weakness but something rarer? A bridge between worlds. Wyatt vowed to protect it, even as his past clawed back, fangs bared. The weeks blurred into a rhythm as intoxicating as the tide's pull. Noah and Wyatt stealing hours between jobs and storms. Mornings at the bait shop bled into afternoons on the pier, casting lines into the slate-gray sea. Hooks baited with whispers and half-truths. Wyatt's touch became map and memory. Fingers interlaced during drives along the coastal cliffs, where wind-whipped pines bent like supplicants. Lazy afternoons in the lighthouse loft, bodies entwined on threadbare quilts, exploring contours with the reverence of cartographers charting unclaimed land. Noah's world expanded in those stolen breaths. Wyatt's laugh, a lighthouse beam cutting his fog. His stories of lost loves, a sailor boy in his teens gone to war, mirroring Noah's own buried aches. They made love slow the first time, rain lashing the windows like applause, Wyatt's hands reverent on Noah's scars, murmuring praises that healed deeper than flesh. You're no curse, he'd say, voice husky against Noah's throat. "You're the moon I been chasing." And Noah believed him, surrendering to the swell of it all. The Bite's allergy revealed as awakening. Not repulsion but revelation. Men weren't poison. They were pulse, Wyatt most of all. But shadows lengthened. Noah's dad ramped up the pressure, voicemails laced with barbs. "Heard you're shacked up in Haven." "With who?" "Some drifter?" "Man up, son, find a woman, settle." The words festered, silver-tongued doubts eroding the fragile peace. Noah dodged calls, burying himself in work. The lighthouse roof gleamed now under his hammer, shingles laid like armor. Yet isolation crept back, a chill wind off the strait. One fog-shrouded evening, Wyatt invited him to a bonfire on Black Beach, a crescent of obsidian sand hidden below jagged bluffs. "Pack gathering," he said vaguely, eyes guarded. "Folks you'll like." Noah arrived with a cooler of brews, heart light despite the unease prickling his scar. The fire crackled high, casting flickering gold on a dozen faces, rough-hewn men and women from Haven's fringes, laughter rough as barnacles. They welcomed Noah with claps and cans, stories flowing of shipwrecks and sturgeon hauls. Then the alpha emerged. Thorn Blackwood, Wyatt's uncle, a bear of a man with salt and pepper beard and eyes like chipped flint. He gripped Noah's hand too tight, gaze lingering on the scar. "Wyatt says you're one of us now. Bitten and bound." The words dropped like anchors, the circle falling silent. Noah's blood iced. So this was the truth. Werewolves, real raw, a pack woven into Haven's salt-weary veins. Thorn's smile didn't reach his eyes. "But you didn't shift." "No fur, no fury. Just this." He gestured vaguely, disdain curling his lip. "Wyatt's soft spot. Hope it's worth the risk." The fire popped, embers swirling like accusations. Wyatt tensed beside him, hand on Noah's knee. A silent anchor. But the pack's murmur swelled. Whispers of weakness, of curses unclaimed. A younger wolf, thin, lean, tattooed with a predatory gleam, sidled close, breath hot on Noah's neck. "Maybe he needs coaxing. A real bite." His fingers grazed Noah's arm, testing, and revulsion surged. Not the old allergy, but something primal, protective. Noah shrugged him off, voice steady despite the quake. "I'm here for Wyatt. Not your games." Thorn laughed, a bark that silenced the waves. "Loyalty's fine, pup. But the moon don't care for half measures. Silver in your blood? That's no gift, it's a flaw." He tossed a silver coin into the flames. It sizzled, acrid smoke rising like judgment. Noah's skin crawled, the air thickening with threat. Wyatt stood then, shoulders squared. "Enough. Noah's mine. Pack or no." The tension snapped like a snare. Finn lunged, half-shifted, claws extending, eyes flashing amber, but Wyatt met him mid-air. Bodies colliding in a tangle of snarls and fists. Noah scrambled back, heart in his throat, the bonfire's heat no match for the chill of betrayal. This was Wyatt's world. Fangs and fealty, secrets he'd skimmed over in pillow talk. As the pack pulled them apart, Thorn's gaze pinned Noah. "Choose sides, boy. Or the tide takes you both." Dawn found them in the lighthouse, bruises blooming on Wyatt's ribs. Noah's hands shaking as he dabbed antiseptic on split knuckles. "Why didn't you tell me?" Noah's voice cracked, hurt raw as the salt in his eyes. Wyatt pulled him close, forehead to forehead, breath ragged. "Feared you'd run." The pack. They're family but fractured. Thorn wants pure bloodlines. "No half-breeds like me, bitten late and loyal wrong." His fingers traced Noah's scar, tender. "You didn't shift because you're different. Stronger, maybe. Allergic to silver, to the chains they cling to. And to men? Nah, that's just you seeing clear." The words mended cracks, but doubt lingered like low-tide muck. Noah kissed him, fierce, bodies crashing together in desperate reaffirmation. Skin on skin, gasps mingling with the sea's roar. It was salvation and sorrow, love's fierce anchor in the storm. But as they lay spent, Wyatt's phone buzzed. Thorn's text curt. "Full moon run tomorrow. Bring him. Or we come for you." Noah stared at the ceiling beams, the weight settling. His transformation wasn't fur. It was fire burning away illusions, forging something unbreakable. But the pack's shadow loomed, a betrayal waiting to bare teeth. For Wyatt, he'd face it. For himself, he'd claim it. The full moon rose bloated and merciless over Haven Point, bathing the bluffs in its sterile glow, turning the world to monochrome edges. Noah stood at the lighthouse's base, wind whipping his jacket like accusatory fingers, Wyatt's hand heavy in his. The pack gathered on the beach below, 20 strong, shadows elongating into silhouettes that hinted at the beasts within. Thorn's voice boomed up the path laced with command. Cain. Harlan. Time to prove blood. Noah's scar throbbed, a metronome to his dread. The allergy had sharpened. Silver anywhere near set his nerves alight, a warning flare against the pack's lore-bound chains. But men? That pull had crystallized into certainty. Wyatt's touch a lodestar, others mere echoes. Yet tonight, desire twisted with danger. Finn's leer from the circle below promised more than challenge. Wyatt squeezed his hand, jaw set. Stay close. They test but they don't break. Lies, Noah thought, but followed, boots crunching shale to the fire pit where embers from last night smoldered like grudges. The pack encircled them, eyes glinting feral, women with braided hair and scarred knuckles, men broad as bulkheads. Thorn stepped forward, a silver dagger glinting in his fist. Ceremonial, he called it, for binding rites. But Noah's skin screamed at the sight, hives rising like battle lines. Drink, Thorn growled, pressing a horn of mead into Noah's palm. It smelled of honey and herbs, undercut with something metallic. Wyatt's eyes widened fractionally. Silver nitrate, a pack poison for rejects. Betrayal hit like a rogue wave. Wyatt's uncle, the man who'd raised him, turning blade on love's fragile bridge. Noah's hand trembled, but he met Thorn's gaze. No. The alpha's face twisted, fury rippling muscles. Defiance? From a half-thing. He lunged, dagger arcing, but Wyatt intercepted, shoving Noah aside and taking the slash across his forearm. Blood welled dark, Wyatt's snarl half-human as he shifted. Fur sprouting, claws raking air. Chaos erupted. The pack surged, loyalties fracturing in howls and scuffles. Finn pinned Noah against a boulder, breath hot and rank. Wyatt's blind. I'll show you the wild. Noah's vision tunneled, fear igniting something primal. Not shift but surge. He headbutt Finn, cartilage crunching, then drove a knee into his gut, fueled by a rage that felt ancient, unbound. The pack faltered, whispers rippling. He fights like kin. But Thorn pressed, dagger raised over Wyatt's prone form, silver tip dripping venom. In that heartbeat, Noah's world narrowed to Wyatt's pained gasp, the man who'd cracked his shell now bleeding for it. Love wasn't poetry. It was this visceral vein deep. He charged, tackling Thorn with a roar that echoed off the waves, the alpha's bulk crashing down. The dagger skittered free, silver kissing Noah's palm. Agony exploded, flesh blistering white-hot, but he held, pinning Thorn's throat with forearm, eyes locked. He's pack. I'm pack. Touch him, and your moon's over. Thorn bucked, but the fight drained from him, packmates pulling back, Finn nursing a bloodied nose. Wyatt staggered up, shift receding, wrapping arms around Noah despite the burns. You're fire, he whispered, awe-threading pain. The circle parted, murmurs shifting to respect. A new alpha in the unlikeliest pelt. Dawn broke gray and forgiving, the pack dispersed to lick wounds. Thorn's glare promising no surrender but retreat for now. Noah and Wyatt retreated to the lighthouse, bandages and bombs turning care into caress. Wyatt's fingers trembled on Noah's blistered hand. Thought I'd lost you. Noah pulled him down, bodies aligning in quiet urgency. Slow this time, every touch a vow. Skin slid slick, breath sinking like tides, Wyatt's mouth mapping scars old and new. It was healing wholly. Hips grinding in rhythm, release crashing gentle as foam. After, tangled in sheets, Wyatt confessed the rest. His own bite at 18 rejected shift, leaving him allergic to the pack's silver rituals, an outcast until Thorn's grudging tolerance. You made me whole again. Showed me love don't need fangs. Noah traced the dagger's gash on Wyatt's arm, now scarring pink. And you showed me I'm no freak. Just me. But peace was fleeting. Days later, back in Ridge Valley, Noah's dad cornered him at the mill. Unannounced, face thunderous. Heard whispers from Haven. Some queer nonsense with that Cain boy? You're shammin' the Harlan name. The words landed like silver bullets, old wounds reopening. Noah's chest tightened, the bite's legacy roaring. No more hiding. Dad, it's not nonsense. It's real. Why it's real. And I'm gay. Been fightin' it since forever, but the bite. It freed me. Harlan Sr.'s face crumpled. Rage to ruin in a blink. My boys. Broken. He swung wild, fist glancing Noah's jaw, but Noah didn't fall. He stood, blood trickling warm. Not broken. Bitten. And better for it. He walked out, truck tires spitting gravel. The mill shrinking in the mirror like shed skin. That night, Wyatt met him at the A-frame, dinner steaming on the stove. Dungeness crab, Wyatt's specialty. They ate by candlelight, stories softening edges. Noah's childhood dreams of sailing away. Wyatt's of building a life beyond the pack. Laughter bridged gaps, but as they cleared plates, Wyatt's phone lit with Finn's text. Thorns rallying outcasts. Moons wane but war's comin'. Choose. The fire in the hearth crackled, mirroring the one in Noah's veins. Betrayal's echo lingered, Thorn's blade, his dad's fist, but so did love's anchor. He'd fight, not with claws but truth. His allergy a shield, his heart a howl. Autumn deepened in the Pacific Northwest, leaves turning the Olympics to flame, but the chill settled bone deep in Noah's marrow. The pack schism festered like an untreated wound. Thorn's faction holed up in derelict cabins along the Elwha River, whispering of purification rites. Silver amulets forged to cure half-breeds. Finn led the charge, his advances on Noah twisted into vendetta. Scouts reporting sightings near Ridge Valley's trails. Wyatt doubled patrols, his shifts at the bait shop shadowed by vigilance, but the strain etched lines around his eyes, turning easy grins to guarded ones. Noah threw himself into the rhythm of their shared life. Mornings tangled in Wyatt's bed at the lighthouse, coffee brewed strong as resolve. Evenings hammering nails on client roofs, each swing a defiance. The allergy evolved. Silver now triggered visions, flashes of pack history, ancestral howls echoing in his mind, as if the metal unlocked forbidden lore. And men? The pull refined to precision. Wyatt's alone stirred him, a compass true north, others fading to static. It was gift and grief, this clarity born of bite. One slate-skied afternoon, Noah drove to Maple Creek, a hamlet tucked in the foothills where his mom had resurfaced, postcards turning to calls after his coming-out storm with Dad. Her cottage hugged a creek, wild asters nodding at the porch. Elena Harlan, once Harlan, now Vasquez after that Portland painter, opened the door with arms wide, her laugh a balm of wild curls and turmeric scent. My boy. Heard the rumors. Proud of you. They walked the creek path, words unspooling. Her regrets for leaving, his for the years of silence. I knew Noah. Even as a kid, the way you'd watch the fishermen, not the mermaids in stories. She squeezed his hand, eyes misting. Love's no allergy, it's the air we breathe. For the first time Noah wept, not from pain but release. She slipped him a photo. Young Noah at 10 grinning by the sea, unscarred and unseen. You're whole. Bite or no? Emboldened, he returned to haven, finding Wyatt on the pier, mending nets with stitches precise as his kisses. Mom gets it, Noah said, pulling him into an embrace that deepened quick, lips meeting salt-sweet, hands roaming under wool. The pier's sway mirrored their urgency, Wyatt lifting him against a piling, legs wrapping as thrusts built like waves. It was public defiant, love's bold claim amid threats, climax shuddering through them like thunder. But nightfall brought reckoning. Thorn's howl echoed from the bluffs, summoning not challenge. Wyatt's face hardened. We go. End this. They trekked the moonlit trails, Noah's scar pulsing like a beacon, until the clearing opened. Thorn flanked by 8 wolves, Finn smirking at his side. Silver chains dangled from their necks, glinting taunt. Traitors, Thorn spat, eyes on Wyatt. Blood for blood. He tossed a silver-laced net at Noah's feet, test or trap. Agony flared as Noah sidestepped, but a tendril grazed his ankle, fire lancing up his leg. He dropped, vision blurring with ancestral whispers. Resist the chain. Claim the wild. Strength surged, not shift but surge, pushing him upright, net shredding in his grip as if brittle reeds. The pack charged, chaos of claws and cries. Wyatt shifted fluid, tackling Thorn in a whirlwind of fur and fong, blood spraying arc-like. Finn cornered Noah, shifted half, jaws snapping. You'll beg for my mark. Noah dodged, grabbing a fallen branch, silver-tipped horror's irony, and thrust it like a spear. It pierced Finn's shoulder, the wolf yelping as smoke curled from the wound. Betrayal's architect writhed, Pack faltering at the sight. Noah unshifted, wielding their weakness as weapon. Thorn broke free, pinning Wyatt, claws at throat. Yield, nephew. Or watch him bleed. Wyatt's golden eyes met Noah's, pleading silent, run. But Noah advanced, voice steady amid snarls. Enough chains. We're Pack. Not by blood but choice. He pressed the silver branch to Thorn's chest, not piercing but promising. The alpha froze, the metals sizzle a hiss of defeat. What are you? Free, Noah said, and meant it. Free of Silver's lie, of men's false fears, of a self long caged. Thorn recoiled, the net dissolving in embers as the Pack stilled. Winds shifting allegiance. They limped back at first light, Wyatt's wounds bandaged, Noah's ankle throbbing but unbowed. In the lighthouse dawn painted them gold, bodies seeking solace. Tender now, explorations laced with laughter. Wyatt's mouth trailed fire down Noah's spine, hands kneading scars into stories. You saved us, he murmured, entering slow. Their union a symphony of sighs and swells, release a shared sunrise. Word later came. Thorn exiled, Finn scarred and silent, the Pack splintering into wary peace. But victory soured when Noah's dad showed at the A-frame. Uninvited, hollow-eyed. Heard the fight. Thought you dead. No apology, just a six-pack thrust forward. They sat on the porch, beers cracking like icebreakers. Harlan Sr.'s voice gruffed low. Always knew I pushed too hard. After your mom. Feared losing you too. A hand on Noah's shoulder, tentative, silver-free. Wyatt seems solid. If he makes you happy. It wasn't absolution but a start, traces of compassion in a man forged by mills and machismo. Noah nodded, throat tight. He does. And I'm learnin' to make myself happy too. As winter whispered in on northerlies, Noah and Wyatt built a shared workshop behind the lighthouse, nets and nails side by side. The Bite's legacy lingered, not curse but catalyst, teaching that transformation came quiet, in accepted hungers and mended bonds. Winter clamped down on the coast like a vice, snow dusting the Olympics peaks while Haven Point huddled under perpetual gray. Noah's days split between Ridge Valley gigs, roofs patched against nor'easters, and Haven's hearth, where Pack remnants gathered not for rites but reasons. Shared suppers, stories, sand, silver. Thorn's absence left a vacuum Wyatt filled cautiously, his alpha role more mediator than monarch, emphasizing choice over chains. Noah watched him navigate it, pride swelling like tide, Wyatt's quiet command a mirror to his own unassuming strength. The Allergy settled into symbiosis. Silver now a reluctant oracle, handled with gloves to glean visions of Pack futures. Unity if unchained, fracture if forced. And desire? It bloomed singular, Wyatt's alone igniting him. Their nights a ritual of rediscovery. One blizzard-bound evening, snow sealing the lighthouse like a cocoon, they lost hours to the fire's glow. Wyatt's fingers painting patterns on Noah's chest, lips following trails to hips, taking him deep with a reverence that bordered prayer. Gasps echoed off stone walls, bodies arching in unison. Climax a wideout of sensation. Forever's looking good on you, Wyatt teased after, tracing lazy circles on sweat-slick skin. But fractures lingered. Finn resurfaced in whispers, spotted skulking Seattle's underbelly, allying with urban outcasts who peddled cures for the bitten. Silver serums promising shifts, peddled in back-alley dens. Thorn's shadow loomed too. Rumors of a rival Pack in Portland, silver-forged and vengeful. Noah dismissed them as winter's ghost stories, until a package arrived at the bait shop. Unmarked, wrapped in oilskin. Inside a silver amulet, Thorn's sigil etched deep, and a note in Finn's scrawl, for the half-breed. Wear it, or Wyatt wears the consequence. Noah's hand blistered on contact, dropping it to the counter, but the vision hit hard. Wyatt ambushed on a supply run, claws rending flesh, silver-tipped. Heart seizing, he pocketed the note, driving frantic to the A-frame where Wyatt wintered with him now. They argued by the wood stove, Wyatt's jaw clenching at the threat, Noah's voice rising in rare fury. It's bait. Let me face it alone. Wyatt pulled him close, kiss bruising. Never alone. We're this. Hands linked scars, bodies pressing urgent. Desperation fueling thrusts. Love's fierce rebuttal to fear. Spring thawed the rifts unevenly. Noah's dad visited unprompted, tools in hand for a porch repair. Awkward hammer swings thawing to talk of fishing trips. Wyatt invited along. Harlan Sr.'s gruff nod at their clasped hands was progress. A bridge of bourbon and base. Elena joined once, her artist's eye capturing them in sketches. Noah and Wyatt on the pier, silhouettes against sunset, love's quiet architecture. Yet the amulet's curse gnawed. Noah tracked Finn to a derelict warehouse in Seattle's industrial sprawl, rain-slick streets mirroring his resolve. He went armed, not with silver but truth, confronting the wolf in a cavern of crates and chains. Finn shifted partial, lips curling. Come to beg? Or join? Noah stood firm, scar aglow. To end it. No more chains for you, me, us. Words poured. The bite's gift, love's freedom, pack his family, not forge. Finn lunged but faltered mid-strike, claws retracting as visions from Noah's touch. Accidental graze flooded him. Silver's lie, unity's pull. They talked till dawn, raw as peeled bark. Finn's rage born of rejection, bitten young and shunned. Thorn twisted me. Noah offered hand unburned. Untwist. Choose. Finn took it, pact sealed in reluctant nod, betrayals bloom to alliances bud. Word reached Thorn via whispers, drawing him north for parley on neutral ground. A meadow in Olympic's heart, full moon veiled by clouds. Packs converged, havens wary, Portland silver-clad. Thorn gaunt but unbowed. Surrender the half, he demanded, eyes on Noah. Wyatt flanked him, Finn at side, a united front. Noah stepped forward, voice carrying like wind. No halves here. Just us, bitten, bound by choice. He held up the amulet, not flinching as it burned. Instead he crushed it, silver dust scattering like defeated stars. Visions cascaded. Futures woven whole, packs merged in mercy. Thorn charged, but his wolves held. Finn's glare, Wyatt's growl. Noah's unyielding gaze tipping scales. The alpha staggered, defeat etching deeper lines. What have you done? Noah met his eyes, compassion's edge. Freed us all. The merge came slow. Shared hunts, silver melted to tools, stories bridging scars. Noah and Wyatt anchored it, their love the keel. Nights in the lighthouse evolving to days, planning a life. A cabin expansion, adoptions whispered for orphaned pups. One golden June eve on Black Beach where it began, Wyatt dropped to knee, ring simple, gold untarnished. Marry me, Noah Harlan. Bite and all. Tears blurred the waves as Noah pulled him up. Kiss sealing yes. The pack howled distant approval, moon winking complicit. Summer unfurled lazy and luminous along the strait, wild salmon leaping silver-free waters, mirroring the peace Noah had forged from fangs. The merged pack thrived in tentative harmony, Portland wolves trading silver lore for haven's tidal wisdom, Thorn exiled but unbowed, sending occasional missives of wary respect. Finn apprenticed at the bait shop, his smirks softened to sly grins, a brother-in-arms trading barbs with Wyatt over filleting knives. Noah's roofing crew expanded, taking contracts up the coast, each nail driven a testament to stability. His allergies became legend, silver a teaching tool, handled to invoke shared visions that guided hunts and healings, the pull to men a quiet joke among elders, who teased of moonmates predestined. But for Noah it was simpler. Wyatt's hand in his during bonfires, bodies sinking under stars, love's rhythm as natural as breath. They honeymooned in a driftwood cabin near Ruby Beach, waves crashing serenade to slow mornings, Wyatt's mouth waking him with worship, hips rolling in languid waves, release blooming like sea holly under sun. Back home fractures healed fully. Dad, now Harlan to all, barbecued at the A-frame, Elena's sketches adorning walls, their blended awkwardness blooming to easy jabs. Boys got taste, Dad grunted once, clapping Wyatt's back, eyes crinkling at Noah's flush. Even the bite's origin haunted less. Noah revisited the Olympic trail, scar tingling forgiveness, leaving a marker, gold ring buried for the beast who'd unwittingly gifted him sight. Yet autumn brought echoes. A lone wolf from Thorn's old guard, silver-scarred and seeking asylum, spilling tales of the alpha's redemption in remote Alaskan wilds, bitten anew not by Fong but mercy's quiet shift. Noah welcomed him, pack swelling with stories of second chances. One equinox night, full moon bold, the pack gathered on Black Beach. Not for rite but revelry. Fires blazed, drums thrummed Salish beats, bodies dancing free of chains. Noah and Wyatt slipped away to the surf's edge, toes curling in cool foam, salt spray kissing skin. Think we'd have found this without the bite? Wyatt murmured, arms encircling from behind, chin on shoulder. Noah leaned back, heart full. Maybe. But it hurried us, stripped the silver from our eyes. Wyatt's hand slid lower, teasing, drawing a gasp. They tumbled to the sand, moonlit lovers, kisses fierce as tides, bodies joining in primal grace, thrust sinking with waves crash, climax a howl swallowed by night. As stars wheeled, Noah traced Wyatt's scars, voice soft. We're the proof. Curses bend to compassion. Freedom's not in fur. It's in choosing the pull. Wyatt's eyes gleamed gold, love's eternal glow. And I've chosen you. Every moon. Years folded like accordions. Adoptions of 2 pups, abandoned Bitten young. Filling the cabin with chaos and joy. Their shifts guided gentle, silver shunned as myth. Noah's crew boomed, Wyatt's shop a hub for wanderers. Pack a network from Seattle to the Sound. Dad passed quiet in his sleep, Mill's stories etched in toasts. Elena's art celebrated them in galleries. Bitten bonds her series title. In quiet hours Noah reflected. The bite hadn't transformed him to beast but man, whole, unapologetic. The allergy to silver? A shield against shackles. To men? A path to one true as north. He'd wandered forests of denial, emerged to meadows of mercy, self, love, kin. On their 10th anniversary, Black Beach again. Rings exchanged anew under that same moon. The pack encircled, howls rising harmonious. Noah pulled Wyatt close, whisper fierce. Bitten but unbroken. Allergic to everything but us. And in that circle of fire and family Noah Harlan knew. The greatest howl was the heart's, free and forever.